Hello, my complete name is Idalia Francisca Viegas and my student number 22, 15, 10, and 84. And I have two friends, Romy and Agun. Today I'm going to be the first presentation, and the topic that we choose is 1.2, in-depth study of limit. Talk about in-depth study of limit. The people who define mathematically were Albert Einstein and Louis Cauchy, and define limit with precision or epsilon and delta as follow. And limit to x to c from f and x equal L means that for every epsilon greater than 0, so delta greater 0, absolute value of f x min L less than epsilon, provided the absolute value x min c greater than 0 and less than delta together with f x min L and less than epsilon. And me and my friends, we take example from the module from number 20 until 22. Now I'm going to explain the first number 20, and let's go to the example. Prove that lim x to 1 to x power 2 plus 1 equal 3 using definition of limit. Write the form x minus c greater than 0 and less than delta together with f x min L less than epsilon. And now we substitute the c to number 1. X min 1 greater than 0 and less than delta with f x min L, substitute to 2x power 2 and plus 1. 2x power 2 plus 1, L change to minus 3, power 1 minus 3 less than epsilon. Now we have to make the tweak to arrive an absolute value. We can write as 2x power 2 plus 1 minus 3 less than epsilon together with 2x power 2 plus 1 and plus 3 less than epsilon. And then 2x power 2 minus 1 and minus 3 equal minus 2 less than 3. Now we have to make a factorization. 2x power 2 and negative 1 and then less than epsilon. Have to write x power 2 minus 1 less than epsilon per 2, and here's the result. And here's is the another example. Lim x to 2x minus 8 equal to answer as before. Write the form x minus c greater than 0 and less than delta together with f x min L and less than epsilon. And then substitute x minus c to x minus 2. X minus 2 greater than 0 less than delta together with f x min L change to the 2x minus 8 equal to 2x minus 8 and minus 2 less than epsilon. Now we have to make a tweak to arrive to an absolute number. 2x minus 8 minus 2 less than epsilon together with 2x minus 8 minus 2 less than epsilon. And then next 2x minus 8 and minus 2 equal minus 10 less than epsilon And then we have to make factorization to x minus 5 less than epsilon. And then x minus 5 less than epsilon per 2. And here's the result. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Iputo Ramedi Mahaputra. My student number is 221-510-1052. So in here I will continue the presentation from my friend Idalia. So Idalia have a presentation about the in-depth assessment of limit. She has a presentation about the equation and example of in-depth material of limit. So today I will continue the presentation. So in this video I will discussion about the two another example about the in-depth material of limit. So let's get started. Okay, so number one of the question, it's I take of a module of limit. So in this question we have lim x to 0, x squares min to x min 1 is equal to 2. So we can prove that. So the step number 1, we can write this the equation analysis. So we can analyze this equation, use the rules and the equation of in-depth material of limit. So it will be 0 smaller than x minus 0. So in this x to 0 can write be x min 0. So use the equation in the in-depth material. We can write this the 0 is smaller than absolute x min 0 is smaller than delta. So is referred to x question, absolute x question min 2x min 1 min 2, and then is smaller than epsilon. So why can I find this equation? I find this question from fx. Fx is min L. So fx in this question is this. Okay, so I will continue the. After that, we can prove that to find the relation about the right equation to the left equation. So we can write this the x quadrat min 2x min 1 is still absolute, min 2 is smaller than epsilon. So we can write this the x quadrat min 2x min 3 absolute smaller than epsilon. So after that we can the factorization this equation. So we can have x min 3 and x plus 1. It's still absolute, smaller than equation. So because we must find the equation of this right side to the left side, to the x means 0, we don't find in this equation. So we can change this question to x means 0. So x means 3, it's equal to it's equal to x means 0 x means 0 plus 3. So it's still absolute. So before we agree about the x means 0, it's like I'm sorry, so x means 0, it's like the smaller or equation to 1. So using this question, we can write x means 0 plus 3. Because this is the plus, we can in the absolute rules, we must change the sig of the equal, so it will be equal to. Okay, so the x means 0, it's can be write the y by 1, so plus 3, so it will be 4. Okay, the next is x plus 1, so it will be x min 0 and min 1 is still absolute. So after use these rules, it will be x min 0 min 1, so it will be min 1 min 1, so it's equal to 0. Okay, from the equation, we find the delta. So the delta is 1, and epsilon per 4 and epsilon per 0, or we can write this 0 because this is 0, so this is not will be elimination. Okay, so after this one step, I will go to the 2 step. So in this 2 step, we can prove that. So before we know about epsilon bigger than 0, so the equation is 0 x means 0 and is smaller than delta. So x squares mean 2x mean 1 mean 2. It will be x2 mean 2x mean 3 and x mean 3x plus 1. We factorization that. So after that, we find the x mean 3, it's 4. We can write it's use the use the equation and the rules of the in-depth material of limit. We can write the 4 is 4 dikali dengan delta. So we know before about delta, it's 1 and epsilon for 4. So we can substitution that. So 4 for epsilon for 4. So it's eliminate. So we can write this epsilon. So but before question, it's true, or we can prove that use this question. Okay, so this is the next question from my presentation. So in the second question, it's I take it in the internet. So in this question, we have lim x lim x to 2, x squares plus 3x plus 1 is equal to 11. So use the rules and the equation about the in-depth material. We can write the one step is analyze the equation. We know that x smaller than absolute x mean 2, it's smaller than delta. It refers to absolute x squares plus 3x plus 1 mean 11 and is smaller than epsilon. So the right side, we must find the relation about the right side to the left side. So we can simplification about the right side. So in this we have x absolute x squares plus 3x plus 1 mean 11 smaller than epsilon. It can be write the x square absolute x squares plus 3x mean 10 is smaller than epsilon. Okay, so after that we can factorization this question to this condition. So it will be x plus 5 dikali x mean 2, it's equal to epsilon. So because we have find about the x mean 2, and it seems like the left the left equation about the analysis equation. So we can write this we only simplification about this one is x plus 5. So the x mean 2, we agree before about the x mean 2 is smaller than or equal to the 1. So let's get simplification about the x plus 5. So absolute x plus 5, it's equal to absolute x mean 2 plus 7. Then because it's have a plus, the sig of the equal is changed to the bigger than or equal to the absolute x mean 2 plus 7. So before we agree about x mean 2 is 1, so x mean 2 will be 1 plus 7. So the is equal to 8. So about this answer, we find the delta. So the delta is the 1 and the epsilon epsilon per 8. So after that we can go the second step is the proof, is the raw proof. So before we know but epsilon is bigger than 0, then the rules the equation is 0 is smaller than absolute x mean 2 is smaller than delta. So this the equation in the right side. We can write this x square plus 3x plus 1, it's mean 11. This can be write by x squares plus 3x mean 10, and we can the factorization that to x plus 5 and x plus 2. So use this the answer, we can write this to the h plus delta. So this will be the delta, we can change that about the this condition. So in here we have h plus epsilon per h, so we can elimination this function. It will so the result is the epsilon. And the next of the question can be presentation from my friend. So in end of my presentation, thank you.
Hello, my name is Agung. My student number is 22 15 10 and 48. And this time I will explain to you about exercise in module e-learning in Diksha, the in-depth study of limit material number 22. So check this out. So we have question like this: limit x power 4 equals 0, which x close to 0. We have to approve this limit by using a definition of limit. So first we have to write this limit into standard form limit. So we have x means 0, which take from this x close to 0 limit, this, and higher than 0 and lower than delta. Therefore x power by 4 lower than ellipse. So we have to improve that this x power by 4 equals epsilon. So x power by 4 is lower than epsilon. We have to change the x power by 4 to x times x power by 3, is in like the value lower than epsilon. So we know that x is higher than 0, lower than delta. So we have that x equals 1. So we move to x power by 3, which same like x power by 3. We know that x equal 1, so this is x power by 3 is 1. So we know that x higher than 0 and less than delta, which is x power by 3 is more than 1. It seems same like equals epsilon. So from that we know that x power by 3 is epsilon. So the next step is we have to approve that x power 4 is equals epsilon. So from this step we have to sederhanakan just like that. We know that x is 1 and x power 3 is epsilon. So that we have x power 4 is epsilon, so that approved.